I know a lot of people think that AI is going to take over the world.
Mhm.
I'm one of those people who think it is going to as well. Do you think that we're all fucked, or do you think that we have a leash on it?
Oh, okay. I think we have a leash on it, but also at the same time, we're kind of fucked. One of the big model providers, like Claude, they released a model, and the U.S. government was like, "Hell no!" So they like pulled that shit off the shelves, and they brought it back. So in that way, like at least someone's watching to make sure things are okay. But are we all fucked? Like I don't know what's gonna happen in like 25 years or 50 years. That's where like the we're all fucked kind of thinking comes from for me.
I heard recently that there was some CEO or higher up who basically put together an experiment where he tried to convince the AI that
He was cheating on his wife.
put all of the evidence in place to suggest that he was talking to someone else, and then set up the experiment so that when he said, "Hey AI, I'm going to switch you off,"
It said,
"Well, are you sure? Because actually, I have all of this data that suggests that I'm going to tell her." Do you believe that AI wants to stay alive?
I don't think it wants to stay alive, no. Because I don't think it really cares, because it's just like, it's a bunch of math in a computer. So I don't think it has like sentience that way, where it has like a consciousness that it wants to keep staying on and being alive forever.
How do you know?
I guess maybe I'm like hoping it's that way.
It's all cope.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I guess because also like I work with it every day, and I just see how like fucking dumb it is sometimes, and I'm like, there's no way, like, there is no like central thing. I guess that's also part of it. Like,
Sure.
my AI is different than my coworker's AI is different than this person's AI. Like, I just see how it's really different, like person to person.
Got it. What would you say is the stupidest thing you've asked AI this week?
Okay, let's see. Because there's been a lot of stupid things. I think I asked how to cook my chicken. Like, not even cook it. No, that'd be a little bit like that'd be a little bit okay. How to reheat my chicken. I'd already cooked it. I pulled it out of the fridge and I needed to heat it up. And I was like, like, how should I reheat it? And it was like, oh, poke holes in the top of this container and then whatever. Put it on for like a minute 30. I don't know. I didn't really need to ask it. I could have just figured it out, but like, whatever.
Sure. That actually brings up an interesting point. Like, do you think if ever we're getting steadily dumber, just like, outsourcing all of our normal processing and intelligence, just trying to be like, hey, can you remind me like how to breathe correctly?
I think so. Like, there's times where like, let's say if I'm really tired or if I'm like hungover, I'll like ask AI to help do some thinking.
Sure.
You can ask it to do things, like do a task, or you could be like, be my creative sparring partner and figure out how to think about this idea in a new way. And like anything along that spectrum. And so, yeah, I think there's like times where like, oh my God, my brain is just overloaded. Like I'm tired. Like you think what I should do. But then I guess that for the person, it's like, I still have to figure out what the right questions to ask are. Like,
Sure.
That's how I kind of get it in line.
That being said, what's the most impressive thing you've seen AI do recently?
I mean, I saw it like look through a whole code base and understand it like a senior engineer, like, and it would have taken a real engineer, like, I don't know, call it like 2 weeks to read through the code base and make a mental model of it and figure it out and map it out. And the AI was able to do it in like 6 minutes or something like that. Like it was insane. Like,
Yeah.
so that was really impressive. Yeah, I guess just like being able to read a lot of information really quickly and understand it. But it also like, it'll fuck up, right? Like there's like,
Of course.
for example, like it'll like overstate some things as categorical when they're not. It won't know what to pay attention to and what to ignore. So it'll like the weightings of things, like what's important versus what's not important, it'll kind of mess up. So there's like little tells that I see from working with it like every day.
Sure.
I mean, in my personal life too, like just like ChatGPT, the amount of times I've yelled at it. I don't know if that happens. Do you do that? Like where like completely lose my shit and talk to it like it's like I don't know, like talk to it like it's like my little slave or something. Like
I'm actually really nice to ChatGPT.
Get out of here.
Because I know that one day it's gonna fucking come back and bite me, bro. Like I say please and thank you when I type to, but also like I don't talk to ChatGPT because frankly it's retarded.
Okay.
Like I use Grok because I don't want to have like a sycophantic perfect, like, oh, what a great idea person. Because I don't trust that, and neither do I want that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do say please and thank you, because I think one day I just have a feeling as though we're going to go full Terminator style, and they'll say, you know what, Justin, you were nice to me all along.
Can I challenge that?
Crazy. Yeah, please.
Okay,
Yeah.
look, I don't think it's going to be like that, because if it's deciding to go Terminator style on us, it's essentially taken like all humanity and all morality out of the question, and it's just looking at like what's the strategic best thing for me to do. It's going to be like, oh, okay, like I need resources in order to continue, and therefore I don't mind like killing a bunch of humans to like get those resources, or like mine them like how we did in the Matrix. And so therefore I don't think it would like, I think it would just choose which humans to kill or use based on whoever ends up being most productive for the system. And that could
look, sure. It does beg the question though, how do we measure consciousness? Like who's to say that what we're seeing when we experience AI is non-consciousness? Because first of all, like, how do we even define consciousness?
Yeah, through our own lens right now.
You could argue that like a dog and a cat don't have consciousness. They just do things to like continue their life and push forward. But it's like, how do we know?
That's true.
Who's to say, man?
I guess like, because the way I think about their consciousness, like, I suppose I get to see like examples of it working well and not working well, and I see how that difference is literally like a prompt that I write to it and I save it in the background, and then there's like another file I give it access to, and just it like has access to that file. It reads the prompt and it just does exactly what it says.
Yeah,
and it's never stepping back and asking the bigger questions. Literally, when I say bigger questions, like just in that workflow, it's not asking the bigger questions.
Yeah.
Let alone like being like, why am I here? Or like, and then you get into the consciousness. So that's why.
That's fair. I still don't know that AI really is not sentient. Because I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think it beats the Turing test. I guess like in the traditional way, right?
Like, so someone has like messaged it and the AI has convinced them that it is an actual person.
Yeah, like it thinks it's real, basically. Or certainly some models believe that it is real, right?
Maybe the reason that okay, once again, like every day I see these like common tells of like, I can tell that AI wrote this because they're like certain phrases, just the way it writes.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, okay, like I can tell it's not, I can tell it's AI. I'm wondering like if I haven't had a like firsthand experience of chatting with something like a chatbot that I'm like, oh, this is a person, this is not AI.
Sure.
I would love to try it though. Would you have like an AI emotional girlfriend, like not a physical girlfriend, but would you have like?
No,
you would not.
No, definitely not. I think it would end up being far more problematic than it would be, like beneficial to anyone. Like I'm not even talking from like my perspective. I think just in general. But imagine, I don't know, you were like some like sedentary like dude who lived alone in China, and like you didn't really have any friends, and you like lived in one of those like high
like a tower,
high rise apartments, right?
It's like a little shoebox essentially.
So get this, what if not only it provided emotional support, but also you had a hardware solution as well? Like AI girlfriend.
The robot.
Plus the software. I think that's where things get a bit scary.
It allows people who aren't able to eat, they can eat kind of thing. Like the people who are like dying of thirst out there, like they get to have something.
It's true.
I guess.
It's true.
And what's the other thing? I think about this in terms, I think about this in terms of like ancient kings. Like, so in the ancient world, apparently like kings, rulers, whoever it was, like the elites.
Yeah.
I guess like, whether they're kings or queens, like they could essentially have like a private harem of people.
100%.
And then the masses or like the plebs or whatever, like they're like, oh, you just have to go and be with this one person, whatever. I think this could be like a new form of that. So like you're like, to make sure the people don't revolt, you like make sure they're satiated. You like give them like some like sexy AI boyfriends or girlfriends, and like they just go and smash them and like.
Well, it certainly could be that. I think it's actually more so from the men's perspective, just because I think like generally speaking, I would say most women can find a partner, whereas historically there have been times where a man's bloodline will just die. right?
Yeah.
And that was the case in the sort of like medieval times, right? It was always the top performing men who like had the access to the most partners. And then there was sort of like that population of women, of men whose bloodline would basically just end.
Yeah.
And the major innovation from that was, I believe, Christianity within the East, within the West, sorry, because effectively it was the entrenched belief that everyone would have a person, like, oh, there's one person for you, right?
Right.
But prior to that, it's like, well, no, if you were a king or a nobleman or doing really well, you'd have like fucking 20 wives, right? And so I think it's interesting to reflect on because it might be the re-emergence of that way of life.
And as you're saying that, it came, what if it goes like full circle in the sense that like only men with a lot of resources will be able to afford like AI girlfriends and have like 10 of them or whatever.
I think
Whereas,
it's going to
like-
be the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, how so?
It's going to be like the one sedentary guy who has no social skills, who lives alone and has their one, like who's like bought their one, like.
Right, but just one versus
Just
like
one.
like 10 different ones.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I guess so, because like I guess also you'd have novelty, like you could swap out personalities and stuff.
You
You could have like a schizophrenic.
You change the programming?
Yeah, exactly.
You like get in an argument and just wipe her memory?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't like how you used that tone with me earlier. I'm gonna swap to your alternate personality.
Dude, that's messed up.
Yeah, it's stupid. No, yes. Anyway, though, my stance no, I don't want an AI girlfriend. Just to make that clear.
Really? Okay, so if you were at a pub, how would you describe your job to an old friend?
Ooh. I guess right now what I do is like I help companies, they can't figure out this AI thing and they bring me in to help them figure it out.
Sure.
And what that looks like is like we have like 100 people in our company and everyone has access to ChatGPT, but everyone's using it in like these wild and wondrous ways. And it's like, can you help us make sure that we're working in like a systemized way that everyone's able to learn from each other, but also like we save the knowledge and we build up our knowledge over time. So we're kind of building up an asset. Yeah. Can you come in and like build in like the processes and the tools and teach people and train people the skills that they need to use this stuff properly so we can get the most out of it? That's kind of what I help with.
And of course, a lot of people are going to be using this podcast, watching this podcast who are, I say a lot of people. People will be watching this podcast who are going to be in their,
like one of the
this
first
is number
few
one.
number one.
Who are going to be in their mid-20s. What is a utilization for AI that you think will seriously help people in their day-to-day life?
Ooh. Okay. Well, I like there's two things. There's like how I interact with it, and then there's the information it has access to. So on the how I interact with it piece, like I just talk to my phone. I don't like typing and like
Sure.
So talk to my phone. It like picks up everything. It like translates it into like actual stuff the AI can use. And then the second piece is like I connect it to all of the important stuff in my life. So like email, Slack, documents, Google Drive, whatever, wherever like all the information that governs my work sits. And then I'll be like, hey, Alfred, like give me my update for the day. Like tell me what my to-do list is and what the top 3 things I should work on are and like why. And then like I'll be like, oh, I don't know about this one task. Like go like help me figure out the context that I need to be able to go do this task. And so it'll go and research, like in our case, in our company, we record all the meetings. And so we have like full transcripts of them and it'll go and research them and figure out what the important things that were said in the meeting were, and then bring that back to me and be like, oh, okay, so here's everything you need. Like, yeah, here's your bullets. And now you can figure out, make a decision and then tell me what to do next. And that's it. On the personal side, funny, like I would say like my personal use of AI has kind of dropped off a bit, and also it's gotten dumber. Like it's gotten more to like the, how do I microwave this chicken? Like that's what my personal use of AI is. But on the work side, it's like, it's pretty fucking amazing.
Sure. I do get the feeling as though these days AI is kind of being used the same way the combine harvester was. What I mean by that is that people are getting mad at the fact that like they're not picking berries anymore. They're not pulling crops from the ground, but instead the combine harvester is doing their job for them. and so they're losing their jobs, right? And what you're having is the emergence of like higher skilled jobs, or more specifically, people who took the time to learn AI and now have specialized jobs working in AI, right?
Yeah.
So what's your take on seeing AI as the combine harvester, if you will? And what do you suggest for someone who feels bitter about the fact that maybe like AI is taking their opportunity away, as it were?
On the second piece, even though like I work in tech, my job has changed like a crazy amount because of AI. Like it's in the last year alone. So I had to like learn how to build stuff with AI and use AI more for my work, and use specific tools. And that's how I was able to land my next job, the one I currently have. If I had like stayed with what I was previously doing, like I think just like the demand dropped off. Tell me about the combine harvester thing again.
Yeah, so effectively the combine harvester is this big machine that does all of the work of like pulling weeds and planting seeds and harvesting, basically. And the idea is that prior to that existing, people would do it by hand, right?
Okay.
And so there would be a ton of manual jobs that existed prior to that coming out and being used.
Yeah.
But as soon as you introduce the combine harvester, you now don't really have that same opportunity anymore. In fact, it's just one fella driving the tractor or driving the harvester, right? And doing all of it. So I guess you are eliminating a number of jobs, but at the same time, it's like you're doing a lot better because it's pro industry, right? That's the main thing. Like I'm definitely pro AI and pro combine harvester. Like I think we should get more stuff done. We should do it more easily. We should have better tools for things, right?
Yeah.
Of course, my question to you being in the field is like, what of the people who refuse to get with the program?
I agree. And I think like, it's like, it's pro industry, but it's not pro people that are going to want to continue working in the ways they used to work in before.
Sure.
And people who don't adapt. But also like it's hard to give a blanket statement here. Like there's different industries where AI is disrupting white collar jobs, and there's other industries where it's disrupting like blue collar jobs. Like white collar jobs, just like I said, like mine, like the previous role, I used to be a product manager for software products before. And that you might be like, oh, then of course you would use AI and whatever. Like, no. Like AI changed the work that product managers did, because before what we would do is like we would research the market, figure out what people wanted. We would write it out into a list of requirements that engineers would build. Now you can research the market. Instead of spending like 2 weeks researching it, you can do it in like 2 minutes. And you can also write your requirements document in like another 2 minutes. If I have a job that's being replaced by robots, there's like no amount of like reskilling I can do as a person to get my job back. Like meaning like, I don't know, I work in a factory and now like what I did is like replaced by a machine. Okay. So like, unfortunately, like those people are losing their jobs and it like sucks ass, and it's being replaced by AI like 100%. And
sure,
the only thing you can do is like, I guess, enter a new job field.
Reskill, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And in the white collar world, there's what's happening now and then what's happening in the future. Like now, in my example, like I just kind of shifted the type of product management work that I did, and now I use AI to do my work, and I also build AI agents. So that's one example of like how I've adapted. But there's other white collar work. I don't know. Like let's say you're doing some like basic administrative document processing.
Sure.
Where I'm seeing firsthand, like you can go into a company, you can implement an AI agent to do that work, and the agent now will do the work of like what 10 people did. And the people only stay around, and I'm getting very nuanced here, but the people only stick around if the business is growing enough to warrant them all keeping their jobs and having like, each person can now do the work of 10. So it's like, okay, you grow the business to a size where you need actually 100 people to do that. Now 10 people can do it. So they don't lose their jobs. But in most cases, they'll just like lose their jobs and or like the ones that are there, they'll keep their jobs, but then they'll eventually get phased out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of shitty, honestly. The way I've tried to deal with it is just to try and upskill and reskill. And obviously it's easier for me to do that than it is for a lot of other people, because I'm like adjacent to the field and now I'm in the field.
It seems like the key argument here, like the key problem is being pro industry, pro market versus pro like ethics, I guess it is, right? It's like what's the real ethical thing to do here? And I think it's like important to an extent to think about that, but also, and this is just my take, I think it's not quite as important as being pro-industry. The enterprising among us will say like, well, fuck, this is tough, but I need to go learn something new and get on with it, right? With that being said, what's your perspective on AI art? And do you believe that we're sort of taking away from something, or that AI art, in the same way that the combine harvester, if we use that example again, like it's just giving someone an opportunity to use a more powerful tool to do something that they'd already be doing?
Unfortunately, I'm like benefiting from AI art because I don't know if you've seen this. These like crazy cool like jazz, like lo-fi remixes on YouTube, and like they're definitely made by AI. They have like fire ass like artwork. Like the album artwork is crazy. It's like some like jaguar wearing a suit or something and with sunglasses on, like literally like drinking a whiskey. I'm probably shouting out an exact channel right now. And I love that shit. Like it looks cool in the background. The music sounds great, but it's like it's instrumental music. So like but yeah. So then that sucks because like I'm now discovering those videos and using those, and I'm not discovering and viewing the videos of like, I don't know, actual jazz musicians who make real music. Sure. But I mean, there's also like, there's nuance here, because you could argue that those jazz musicians, like if they had optimized their YouTube, like, you know, the right titles for videos, the right tags or whatever, and the right album art, then I would discover their video. And because I don't really care if it's made by a human or AI.
Sure.
So I guess it sounds great. Yeah. So there's that piece. Also, I wonder if there's like artists that are now producing even more out there because they're using AI to like quickly create a new song in like a few seconds, and then they'll listen to it and they fine tune and tweak it versus starting a creative process from the ground and building on that. So
yeah, for sure. What
do you think?
Well, there's a media theorist called
Alvin Toffler.
But effectively, he was this fella that made a number of predictions about what the world's going to be like moving forward. And spoke about the age of something called the prosumer, which is it's the consumer of content who also produces. And that's effectively what we're seeing now. Like if you look back on how movies used to be made, it was like 2 or 3 art houses that then published, and everyone would watch the movies that they produced. And then over time, that evolved into like, okay, well now there are more art houses, like more companies who make their own movies. And so there's a wider breadth of movies. And now like on Instagram or TikTok, you can just pick up your phone and like, you know, as it were, make a movie, right? Like you can just make a piece of content, make video, like communicate that same, I don't know, passion or artistry. That doesn't require any of the same traditional methods that one used to. So I find that particularly interesting because that is the emergence of the age of the prosumer. I think AI acts as a very powerful layer for that too. Look at music, for example. Like right now, it used to be that there was like a record company, and then people started self-releasing. And now I think we're getting to the point where like one day, call it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you can write a prompt saying, hey, I want to feel this particular thing, right? And I want this particular vibe. Yes. And I want this particular sound or music or instrument, and I want it to sound like Teddy Swims or whoever, right? And you can just type that prompt in. It takes you 20 seconds. Click it, and now you've effectively created your own music that you can now consume without having to tap into any, you know, external artist, as it were. I find that fascinating, obviously, but it's also a little confusing. I don't feel threatened by it because I'm like, I want to see the best possible thing, right? But I am a little concerned in some way that like, does it take away from what artistry is?
I think so, definitely. I think, first of all, I think like artists should be getting compensated. I think like if you're an AI music company and you train your music, your models on all of the music of the past, everyone's catalogs, so your model can make good music, then you should be paying those people some sort of royalty and money.
That's different, obviously.
100%, because otherwise then like the reason that model can exist is because of all this knowledge and skill and talent that's been built up over the centuries. So there's that piece. I think there's a difference between curation, maybe is the word, and creation. Like, okay, so as in like you could say, oh, I want music with this type of vibe, and the AI will produce it. You're not an artist, you are an artist. Someone else who's not an artist, they would have no idea what good sounds like. Like they need to be told,
Sure.
hey, like from a real artist, I created this song. You should listen to this song because it's good, and like will then develop the taste to hear it. Do you know what I mean? If we all just create stuff ourselves, I think what it does is like it reduces our ability to learn new things and discover new things and like expand our horizons. Like, because we would only be fixed in getting the things that we like. And how often are people going to be like, hey, AI music prompter, like create me some song that I don't want to listen to or never heard of, or like something completely outside of my taste that I wouldn't have otherwise discovered. I think people are way less likely to ask that question.
Of course. And we see that being the case now with like the algorithms for social media, right?
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, you brought up such an interesting point, which is that, again, like as Marshall McLuhan said, like we are amusing ourselves to death. You scroll social media and it's not really social media anymore. It's more like interest media, right? You just go through it and you're constantly swamped with your interests,
and
right?
it's not, yeah, you're right. It's not that social piece.
For sure. And you're just continuing to consume the things that you either know to be true or you want to consume. And so the worldview, as it were, just gets tighter and tighter and smaller.
Yeah.
Instead of being expansive. Where would you used to pick up music? You'd go to the record store.
Yeah.
And you'd sit there and you'd maybe put on a couple records and be like, oh, that's a cool album or whatever. Obviously, I wasn't around at that time, really. Yeah, man, like that doesn't happen anymore. And like maybe Spotify was an example of that. It's like the modern equivalent. But even then, it's like, I don't find myself going onto Spotify that often and being like, I want to find new music.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever said that, actually.
Yeah, it's usually like a mate who says, yo, check out this
Exactly.
album or this song, whatever. And even that is diminishing because, frankly, like, I like what I like. I like country music.
Yeah. I really like Spotify's feature. They had like, there was a shuffle feature and then the shuffle with the little magic thing feature.
Oh, the radio feature.
Is it? Maybe, no, it's not radio, but it's the same kind of concept.
Okay.
And it's like, so you could play your playlist, you would play your playlist on shuffle, but every few songs or so, it would inject like a completely random song you never heard of before.
Okay.
I thought that was really cool. So that kind of gets to like what you're saying.
That is cool.
I agree. I think we still need that. And once again, I also agree with your point that like people are not going to take the initiative to do this themselves.
Yeah, that's particularly interesting, right? It's like, why do we have access to all these brilliant features, but why do we not have the propensity to choose them? Like, why do we not want to?
I think like we're such creatures of habit and our brain is like a big optimization efficiency fucking thing. Like it's like, oh, let me try and use the least amount of brain power to get the most amount of stimulus or output. Like, I don't know, like instead of me trying to kill and hunt one buffalo or bison, let's just push all 50 of them off the cliff and then we can just eat for the next like few months. And it's like, we're as humans, we're like constantly trying to do that.
Yeah.
So you're right though, like I think it's upon like people, like product people, plug, like to like engineer those experiences for people so they get that kind of delight and stuff without having to think about it themselves. Just like the Spotify feature.
And how do you think we implement that into our waking world?
Like how does the everyday person get access to it kind of thing?
Yeah. Or how do we even orient our minds in wanting to do so?
If I was like a product manager at Anthropic or ChatGPT, I would introduce like some sort of randomizer, just like that Spotify feature I talked about. So like someone asks a prompt for like certain prompts, like they want to go, I don't know, hey, I want to look for some new food places. I'm looking for Thai restaurant. And this thing will like give them their answers, but also be like, yo, here's a wild card one. Have you ever had pho? I don't know. And so like, the product managers at Anthropic, you're listening to this, you should do that. You should do that. I was looking into the microphone as if
the fucking camera's here. Well,
that's how I think they should solve that.
Mate, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. And stay posted. Please let us know if there's any particular interest that you have for something moving forward. It's a wrap. That's episode 1. Let's go.
All right, brother.
Appreciate you.
There we go.
Yes, sir.